In an upscale apartment with wide views, the main character enjoyed the luxury around him, which included 4 fancy sports cars and an excellent gaming setup. Dressed in rare golden armor, he took pride in his remarkable status. His laughter was so strong that he fell off his chair, hurting his tongue and breaking his smartphone. On the broken phone, a notification about a debt appeared, making him smirk at the persistent debt collector. Wanting to make money, he settled into his bed, ready to start his game. His virtual character, also in golden armor with fiery hair, impressed and made other players envious. They whispered about his seemingly unfair success. Suddenly, a newcomer called Noob boldly asked for 10 gold coins, surprising everyone. The hero seemed about to give Noob 1,000 gold coins, but instead used the bag to get rid of him in one swift move. A knight who saw this tried to intervene but was bribed by the hero to stay out of it. This harsh act made other players feel angry and want revenge. As the hero ran from their anger, he accidentally entered a room where he was reminded of his responsibilities. After some discussion, he needed to sign some papers and take on an SS rank quest. Confident in his shiny armor, he proudly claimed he had already been given this quest. Without reading the contract, he signed it, and his bravery was recognized. He was promised a reward of 40 million gold, equal to 20 million in real money, enough to pay off all his debts. The quest was to defeat the Embarks, a dragon-like creature attacking merchants. The hero boldly jumped into the dragon's mouth. As the dragon tried to eat him, his large golden flaming sword cut through its body. With a calm look, the hero, now covered in the dragon's insides, realized the dragon was surprisingly weak. He felt deep disappointment and anger as he looked at his once clean armor, now stained with the dragon's blood, a grim reminder that his quest was at risk. To make things worse, other players soon attacked him with powerful magic. Unsure if their attacks were fatal, the hero managed to survive. In retaliation, he created a huge wall of flames that burned several of his attackers. The remaining players, feeling discouraged but determined, decided to attack the hero together. Despite their efforts, the hero, driven by anger and confidence, skillfully defended himself. Suddenly, the dragon he had defeated came back as a huge zombie dragon, adding to the chaos. In the confusion, a young boy unexpectedly attacked the hero, stabbing his hand with a small knife. The hero was confused about how such a tiny blade could hurt him. The boy then revealed himself to be a charming girl who taunted the hero, claiming he would never be the best. Her quick and accurate attacks left the hero struggling to keep up. Frustrated, he insulted her, calling her a bastard, which provoked a series of blows to his face and left him stunned. The girl then ordered him to strip off all his belongings, leaving him completely exposed. As panic set in, the hero's screams were abruptly silenced by a sharp kick. Despite threatening to become the top hero and kill her, the girl responded with a mysterious remark, saying he would soon learn her identity but would need to search for her far and wide. The girl then walked away, leaving the hero alone with the looming threat of the zombie dragon. Before leaving, she warned him that if he died, his statistics would reset to 0. In a fit of rage, the hero shouted his intention to kill her, but before he could finish, the dragon's jaws closed around his head, ending his defiant cry with brutal finality. In the capital of the Eastern Kingdom, the scene shifts to reveal a stunning landscape. A majestic castle rises in the distance, and the bustling market is alive with activity. Amidst the vibrant stalls, a young woman, our new heroine, steps into view. She's traveled far, her heart set on savoring the local delicacies she's longed for. As she nears the food stall, her anticipation builds. But just as she's about to join the line, a towering figure strides up. The man, clearly having journeyed from afar, hands money to the vendor and quickly secures the very treat she had been dreaming about. When the woman sees this, her frustration boils over. In a fit of rage, she pushes the man aside with surprising strength, sending him crashing into a stone wall. With the treat now in her grasp, she devours it with a ravenous hunger, barely noticing how swiftly she eats. Soon, all that remains in her hands is a stick, a mere remnant of the food. In the distance, she catches sight of a familiar face. Her main character, who had once faced a grim fate but was now reborn, beginning anew at the very first level. In a turn of unfortunate events, a determined individual sets out to vanquish a charming little rabbit. However, despite his best efforts, he repeatedly misses his mark, while the rabbit, with a single powerful swipe, sends the would-be hero sprawling far away. Overwhelmed by the turn of events, the protagonist can't help but voice his frustration, lamenting how just yesterday he was considered the best, but now feels like a complete novice. In a desperate bid for help, he turns to others for assistance, only to be met with mocking laughter as they chain him to a post. They take turns beating him in front of a jeering crowd, pausing only to heal him before starting the cycle anew. Their enjoyment seems endless as they encourage one another to keep up the assault, relishing in the hero's suffering. Exhausted and disheartened, the hero vows that once he regains his strength, he will seek revenge on everyone who has wronged him. He is healed one last time, only to be confronted by the very person who had set him these trials. With a disdainful smirk, this figure expresses a deep contempt for those who fail to repay their debts, hinting at how the game's currency might influence real-world consequences. At this moment, a girl, who appears to hold the hero in high regard, steps forward to defend him. A fierce sword fight ensues between her and the assistant of the man who had imposed the trials. Despite her brave stance, the hero is oblivious to her true feelings for him, as she battles valiantly to protect someone who doesn't even recognize her. The story takes a surprising turn as it shifts back a year before the main character has reached his peak. He is now on a battlefield, hidden in a tree, where he sees a young girl hanging helplessly from a branch. As she watches the chaos around her, it's clear she is witnessing the man responsible for many deaths. Calmly, he tells her that her current situation is due to her own weakness and challenges her to cut the rope binding her if she wants to grow stronger, then leaves. The scene then shifts to the girl confronting her former creditor, driven by the hero's words. As she fights for redemption and strength, the creditor is stunned by her transformation and the powerful ally she has gained. Suddenly, a towering figure appears and attacks with a powerful laser blast, nearly killing the protagonist. Fortunately, they manage to evade the attack. In an unexpected twist, the lender chooses to side with the protagonist and offers protection. Despite being pursued and taunted by the general, the heroes decide to flee. The lender summons his majestic blue dragon, Bunny. The heroes climb into the dragon's mouth, and with a powerful flap of its wings, Bunny takes them safely into the sky, disappearing into the horizon. The embittered general, captivated by the sight of a legendary dragon escaping, was momentarily distracted. His assistant, feeling bold, took the opportunity to ask whether the rumored cooldown period for punishment was as long as people said. The assistant's curiosity was met with a sharp rebuke intended to silence him and prevent him from becoming the next target of punishment. As the dragon soared above the intense battle below, its majestic presence led enemies to speculate whether it was transporting reinforcements. Meanwhile, the heroes, clutched in the dragon's powerful claws, experienced a turbulent ride, wincing in pain and anxiously wondering about the chaos around them. Eventually, the dragon arrived at Dragon Mountain and gently set the heroes down on the porch of a quaint hut before settling contentedly on its haunches. A mysterious figure, who had been guiding the heroes, approached them with an enigmatic offer that they couldn't refuse. The protagonist turned to the girl beside him, asking if she would accompany him. She agreed, promising to protect him as they had previously discussed. Despite her assurance, the hero felt uneasy, unable to remember the details of their promise or even her identity, fearing that if she discovered his lapse in memory, it might lead to his immediate downfall. In a lively scene, the lender and his team encounter a group of small, colorful dogs, their short legs and bright coats adding a touch of cheer to the room. From the back, a voice calls out, "Are you back?" The lender responds simply, "Yes, boss," prompting the boss to ask about the assistant lender. The lender, however, seems keen to avoid discussing this. Suddenly, a mysterious voice from the shadows questions whether the protagonist is indeed a high-level warrior. The protagonist, confused and taken aback, tries to determine the identity of the questioner and whether they hold any significant status. His thoughts are soon interrupted by a barrage of questions about his level, leaving him puzzled about what makes being at the highest level so special. The scene then shifts to reveal the boss, a young man with striking white hair, who demands that the hero upgrade him, adding another layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama. In a tense conversation, the boss makes the hero an astonishing offer of $1 billion, an amount so staggering that it leaves the girl present in total disbelief. The hero, wanting to make a bold statement, suggests that the offer is just a starting point and not nearly enough. Before he can explain further, the creditor intervenes, reminding the hero of the significant debt he still owes. With bold confidence, the hero dares the creditor, Hard-Hitter, to cut off a few of his fingers if he questions his credibility. Hard-Hitter then asks about a supposed patron, and the hero dismisses such rumors as baseless. At this moment, the hero needs to step away briefly and use an emergency exit, though the boss cautions him to be careful. Suddenly, the hero becomes disoriented in the real world and is dragged roughly by his arms and legs. In his confusion, he cries out for help. The leader of the group notices he's awake and tells them to let him go. On the ground, the hero asks if Chairman Kim is behind his situation. He learns that everything he has, from his cars to his apartment, is financed by Chairman Kim, who has invested heavily in him. The message is clear: if he fails and loses the competition, the repercussions will be severe. The hero finds himself confined in a dark, prison-like room, facing the grim reality of needing to regain his former status to be freed. His frustration intensifies when he spots a box labeled drugs, prompting an angry confrontation with Chairman Kim. The scene then flashes back 3 years, showing a tense moment where the hero is on the brink of being thrown off a 4-story building by his kidnappers. Desperately, he pleads for his life. Instead of killing him, the kidnappers reveal their plan to use him as a pawn to work off a massive 80 million won debt. At the last moment, one kidnapper pulls him back from the edge, and the hero, overwhelmed with fear, begs for mercy. The kidnapper presents a contract binding him to work for a man named Jen until his debt is repaid. The hero is introduced to a peculiar game called Adventure in Consciousness, with hints that the in-game currency might have real-world value. Pressured into signing, he is given a chance to work off his debt in a designated workhouse. Surrounded by other players also in debt, he starts asking for their nicknames while searching for an escape. Excited to interact with a specific girl in the game, he returns eagerly. During a conversation, the hero questions a boy about a warning he received and suspects a conspiracy involving Kim. The boy reassures him there's no such plot. The hero then negotiates for a higher reward, proposing 3 billion won, and is surprised when the bully agrees, leaving his new bodyguard in disbelief. As they prepare to leave, Sora is invited to join their group and agrees. Walking down the street, the hero instructs Sora to buy more potions for a dungeon. Sora, skeptical of the hero's strength, demands immediate proof. Though unsure how to demonstrate his abilities right away, Sora stands up for him, insisting that proof is unnecessary. When they spot a green-haired figure at a nearby shop, Sora challenges the hero to prove his strength by defeating the figure. Confidently, the hero accepts the challenge, ready to showcase his abilities and prove himself.